I mean, just look at the first half of their Champions League game. We'll go ahead and switch over to City. Let's look at the first half of their Champions League game. They were sloppy as they could be,
and still had 13 shots.
Yeah, and Haaland was missing left and right. And as you know, I definitely understand that Haaland is inevitable, and he's always going to score. Especially when you give him 7, 8, 9 opportunities a game.
Chances. And then he should have had 5. Easy. I'm not saying he was just taking chances to take them. He should have had 5.
Yeah, in the first half.
I'm just saying that City have been sloppy in games. They haven't, they haven't hit the heights yet, and they're still winning games, still perfect, And so I think that the Arsenal game coming up is a big game for City as well, But first, they had Red Star Belgrade during the week. Good thing I learned that their name was Red Star, so I don't have to try to pronounce Severna Svezva. Nailed it, right? But what'd you think of that game? I mean, it's kind of similar to the West Ham game.
Well, the thing is that there was a couple of changes in the lineup. Nunez started the game, and Doku didn't start, and Bernardo played. And so the City has had this thing where you can see they're not in form at all yet. And the funny thing is they're not in form, and they still had 13 shots in the first half and not even in form. And the thing about it is I think it's just because they're getting used to playing with whoever they're playing with, because guys are being really, really fluid in positioning. So, for example, Bernardo got yanked in the first half. Obviously, it came back later. It was a precaution for an injury. But, you can see once guys get kind of settled to where they're supposed to be, they will be that. For example, when Red Star scored, you didn't see no one was worried or fazed in City at all. They knew they were going to win the game. There was zero concern about the game.
I think it's my fault. I think it's my fault, actually, because at halftime of the Champions League games, I was watching Paris-Dortmund. I watched the first half of Paris-Dortmund, and at halftime, I checked the scores, and I was like, am I really going to switch over here so I can cheer against City? And the same thing happened. I switch over, and it's just, it's my fault. If I see City down 1-0 at halftime again in a game I'm not watching, I am not switching over.
Don't turn it back on. Don't turn it back on. Don't do it.
But I just think, the funny thing is Bernardo got pulled before half, and then they put Doku on that side, and clearly he can play both sides. So they had Walker and Doku together, and you could see they were about to be a menace. And then they moved Doku over, and Alvarez just did what Alvarez does. And the thing about it is that what you've seen, and a lot of commentary has been Pep is a big control guy, which is why Grealish plays a lot. And so Alvarez is not like your control 10, right? He's I'm going to take a shot, I'm going to take chances kind of guy. And so you can see the team switch to that in the second half, where they started to play a little more open, a little more dangerous, tried a couple of more things. And once they started doing that, it was ridiculous. Haaland had an assist, but that's because he literally knows at this point, you can see all he cares about is winning the game. He would love to score, but if he can get guys in positions to put goals, then he can. And then I read a thing where it said the keeper, the backup keeper, or Ortega, was talking about the keeper, because the first half, the Red Star keeper, he was everywhere, right? But the thing is that they said Ortega said he's reading the ball in the air, and he's not following it correctly.
I saw that thing, yeah.
And the second, when Alvarez scored his goal, that bend, that's why he missed it, because he just couldn't read it. And so after that, you saw all their shots were better. Because they are literally hey, we're going to punch you in the face. We're going to come at you. And then we're going to reevaluate and come harder. And once they put Doku on the other side, which, I've said his name probably 3-4 times. That guy is going to be a menace. You got to follow that. he still doesn't know what he's doing in the system. There were a couple of balls that he played that if he knew to like where people would be in the system, he would play different balls because you can see it. Like he would pass a ball and he would look and he's like, I got you next. He knew like he's starting to grow to understand the players, and he's not looking just for Holland. He's looking for Albert. He's looking for the runners because Foden had a couple of decent runs. And I just think Rodri was a little sloppy in the first half as well. But then you saw Nunez dropped in, and allowed Rodri to move forward. I just think these guys are just like Rodri didn't have that last year. He didn't have anybody where he really could have did. I mean, Gundogan was fine, but
Kovacic will do that for him as well.
But Kovacic is hurt. So I mean, as soon as you know he had what 2 games with him, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
So there's still like a lack of fluidity that they have. And so, I think that, it's just coming forward in games that they'll get better. So the funny thing is, I think not even looking forward to it. I think in 4 games time, I think you'll probably see the most healthy City team by that time. So I think that makes the Arsenal game will be good because I think both teams will be sort of the top of where they are.
It's gonna be massive, dude.
And I think that'll be a great game. But I think I'm looking forward to playing Spurs as well, man. I have a lot of respect, and this is more about the manager than the organization. And I just kind of like the energy that he brings. Like he's such a likable guy and what he's doing with them. But for City, I mean, they did what they were supposed to do. And like Real Madrid struggled. They took a fulfillion shots.
I watched the second half of that one too. Yeah, peppered them.
And so it's like City did the same thing. So it's a matter of, just figuring it out, knowing we're better, but then actually being clinical while knowing you're better. Because a lot of times these guys get in their head and they think, well, we're better. They're just going to let us get them in. It doesn't happen like that. Yeah,
it's going to be a similar situation at the weekend.
Now we're punching them in the face, man, because the league is different. But Pep has put that out clearly. The league is, hey, man, we destroy people in the league. That's what they go for. I mean, West Ham was good.
Forest beat Chelsea at the Bridge, man, and
Are you really comparing Chelsea to the City right now? Like, I'm no disrespect, X, but we're not comparing Chelsea.
If Forest if Forest gives City the amount of chances, we took 20 shots in that game.
They're gonna do the sit back, same thing they did versus Arsenal,
right? But City can convert. City 20 shots. You give City 20 shots in the game, they're going to score at least 1 or 2.
But Forest, I will say, Forest is a better.
We're not going to hit the broads out of a barn. Like
Forest is a better counterattacking team than City has faced so far this season. I'm playing devil's advocate. I agree.
If they sit that deep, City's going to score. Like they might get one on the counter, but City's
the Sheffield game. City struggled in the Sheffield game versus a low block.
Yeah, they did struggle in the shot. Well, until they didn't. Like they always find the game. They always find one
but that's the thing. City's patient.
You can't hold that out for 90 minutes.
They're patient.
Right.
Like the style of ball they play is like so for teams that do that, that's why Pep wants to control the ball. That's literally why. That he's patient, and then he's gonna rotate guys in there. And you got to think like Doku wasn't. I don't think either Doku wasn't there or he didn't play yet.
I don't think he was there.
Yeah, I mean, look, he literally is just he's breaking them down. I don't think Bernardo's going to play in this game, so it'll probably be. And Grealish is back in training, so he'll probably be on the bench.
It'll be Alvarez.
Yeah, so it'll be. I think it'll be Doku, Foden on your wings, Alvarez, Holland,
Nunez again,
Nunez, and Rodri, and then Vardiol will probably start this game since he didn't play the last one. Diaz. Akanji, I think Akanji starts because he didn't start. He played really well in the last game too. Akanji and then Walker.
Yep.
Yeah. As much as I'm praying for a Forest masterclass and just a counterattacking exhibition
at the Etihad, man. No.
I've gone 3-1. I just you guys have already said it. My biggest point on the matter is that you can sit in a low block versus City. You can try to defend well, and you can defend well, but you're not going to do it for 100 minutes.
Nope. I thought Sheffield had a great game against City.
You should get worn down.
You're not going to do it for 100 minutes. Exactly.
You should get worn down, man.
Yep.
Well, and that's what's so scary. That's what's so scary about Pep, because and about this City team is because the only way to really challenge City is to play toe to toe with them. And everyone and their grandmother knows that if you try to play toe to toe with them, you know, there's a 75 to 80% chance you're going to get wrecked.
You better have the personnel in midfield to do so.
Arsenal tried to go toe to toe with City 3 times last season, and we took an 8-1, an 8-2 aggregate in 3 games.
The best person to do it last season was Madrid first leg in Madrid. Period. Best people to do it last season.
Huh? And that was about the stadium. That was about
the boys playing
they were at home.
Yeah.
What was your score, Lewis? What'd you say? 2-0. Oh, you don't think Awani Alanga? He might be up for it against
the reason I don't think they score. The reason I don't think they score is because when Red Star scored, you could see they're frustrated. Like, there's a pride in that defense now, and I think they're not about making mistakes like that. I mean, our team's going to get shots. Sure, they'll get shots, but I think there's a pride with Ederson, and I think there's a pride with that back four where they look like they're a solid defensive unit. Where I just think their goal is to get clean sheets. So I think a 2-0. I don't think I think we dominate obviously the ball, but I think it's 2-0.
Could be a boring one. Not gonna lie.
I went 3-0.
3-0.
Well, I appreciate that score, X. I like that.
I went 3-0. I think if Forest play you like they played us, again, if you give City 20 shots, the conversion rate, the math's there, they're scoring 2 or 3. We can't hit the broadside of a barn. 20 of those shots are going to end up on frame if you let City do it. Like,
it might be 0-0 for 75 minutes.
And dump them in.
And then comes 1, then comes 2, and then you're done. Then it's bunches. You're over.
That's my hope.
It's crazy that Haaland has missed so many shots this season, and he's still 3 or 4 ahead of everybody else in goals.
Well, They're feeding the beast, man.
But here's the other thing. Last year, he wasn't getting the ball like that. Now he's getting the ball a ton. And the thing is, the quality of the ball he's getting is different because De Bruyne was giving them those balls.
Yeah. The spin on it's just a little different, man.
Right. So,
De Bruyne spin.
People made fun of him, and they say, well, he's a tapping merchant. Well, De Bruyne does that. De Bruyne literally puts the ball where all you have to do is.
Oh yeah, he made Raheem Sterling score 17 in a season. Like, come on, man.
Whereas, I mean, Alvarez and Foden are working on getting there, but they're not putting the ball on the plate like him. And it's not because they're not good enough. It's because De Bruyne is unique.
Do you think we see any of this sloppiness we've seen in the first half in the first couple of games? Do you think Pep's fine? Or Pep is going to be like, look, this is unacceptable.
Yeah, he's not going to let them be like, because I think the reason they're going to be more clinical this game is because you got a cup game, and the cup game will let you play the boys and stuff like that. So I think
in the week,
he wants them to be clinical now to maintain that form. So then when he does the rotation for the middle of the week,
who do you have in the cup?
I don't remember. It's a Premier League team. It's
Newcastle.
Oh. Yo, Newcastle's just getting beat up, man. Newcastle's just getting beat up.
You feel for it. You
had a great season, boys.
For him?
You just get smacked.
Who feels for him? I don't.
They had a great.
They look good in Champions League, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'd say, we've all gone for City wins, which does not surprise anyone.